Wake up, good morning, Mache. This is GH Today. My name is Lerato Charlotte Letsoso. Time now to have a look at our headlines on our first bulletin for the day. Over 4,000 depositors of Nzema East Credit Union in Elembele and Axum cry out to government to intervene after company run away with their money. We bring you the story of 30-year-old Beauty Clote, who is recovering from domestic violence. We have a look at Ghana's economy to be boosted following establishment of the Ghanaian-Hungarian Business Council. These and many more stories coming up this morning. Stay tuned. And starting off with one of our top stories this morning, the Koforidua Circuit Court has granted bail to a tune of 25,000 cedis with 2 sureties to 7 illegal chainsaw operators arrested in the Atewa Forest Reserve in the eastern region, felling economic trees. Now, according to the Ghana Forest Investment Program, Ghana loses 2% of its forest annually, which translates into about 700,000 hectares through illegal logging.
The accused persons were arrested on Tuesday by the Nyinam range of the Forest Service Division of the Forestry Commission after excruciating trail of the suspects who were operating in the forest at Achim Apepem section. Forestry experts have cautioned that Ghana's natural forests may run the risk of being depleted in the next 10 to 20 years. They expressed fear that if care is not taken, the country will resort to importing timber for construction if the high rate of illegal timber logging is not kept. In a related development, the forest guards under the Nyinam range of the Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission has confiscated 3 chainsaw machines. Speaking to GH1 News at Kibi, the Nyinam range manager of the Forestry Services, Palmer Akins Amponsa, said illegal logging is on the increase following the fight against Galamsey. However, most of the perpetrators, including illegal miners, caught mining in the forest reserve, have been arrested and prosecuted.
When they got to the place around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they saw 8 men busily sawing in the forest reserve. They felled several trees and Dahoma, Udum, Saiba and other species. And they were on it, so they were able to arrest them. These forest guards were only 6, but they were able to arrest 7 of the suspects. It was only one person who took to his heels. So they called me, and with the assistance of the police and the rapid response, we brought the suspects to Kibi Police Station for further investigation to be conducted.
Squatters near the Flagstaff House in Kanda and its environment woke up to a demolition exercise at the early hours of today. Now, the demolition exercise, which was authorized by the Ghana Water Company Limited, was to claim they encroached land occupied by these squatters.
According to some affected victims who spoke to GH1 News, the land has been occupied by them for some years now. They have been doing business on it till a 3 months notice was served to them to vacate. They woke up this morning to witness the demolition of their structures by some military personnel, causing loss of properties in the process.
Ghana Water is claiming that the land is for them and they want to evict those who have established businesses here. And they went in for 48 Engineering Regiment, the military, to come and evict the people. And apparently the notice came last week, Friday. And it's just a small fry. Nobody signs it. There's nothing else. Just giving us 2 days to evict from this place.
Then this morning, early in the morning, I had a call from a friend of mine. And he said that the soldiers are here destroying the place. So I have no option than to come here and check. When I came, what my friend said is true. They were destroying it. So I made an attempt to take some of the goods out, but they didn't allow me. So one of the soldiers nearly hit me with a stick.
The demolition exercise has affected livelihoods and business activities. Affected squatters are therefore calling on the government to come to their aid.
Just a point of correction, that demolition actually occurred on Friday and not the early hours of this morning, as I said earlier on. Now, moving along to the rest of our stories, domestic violence can happen to anyone, yet the problem is often overlooked, excused or denied. This is especially true when the abuse is psychological rather than physical. Now, as Ghana marks 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, we bring you a story of 30-year-old Beauty Clotte who has suffered physical abuse by her husband.
Abuse against women has become one of the most widespread and devastating human rights violations in the country. According to a research made by WOLDAF, about 80% survivors of physical abuse say that the violence usually starts with just a slap or a push, but then becomes more intense over time. The research also showed that at least 17,655 cases were reported to the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service in 2014. Meet Beauty, a 30-year-old physically challenged mother of 4 who was physically abused by her husband 7 months ago at Kojo Ashong, a suburb of Amasaman. She tells us how her husband allegedly beat her after accusing her of not feeding one of their 4 children with enough food.
Ba feni ne hagbe can be echo ame ye near me yeli no ne ebomi jemu maybe less than a phone that jemo no ne ebomi jemu e won ne machine nam ni akọ te ni ke trashina ne egbele ni ke te trashina ne egbele ne je eje ko yen se ni e ke pamba jim ni ne fun.
According to her, after the incidents, she left for her mother's house where she slept for 3 days until some community leaders came in to settle the issue.
Miss Moni abamole ike da bishi nka hani amole she je police and shinke aha wo mami Sarah na chele wo anu kwale nikete nka ahale ninke ahale na chele ikele lena niba dani efe na kai shi keje no se efe na kai don anu kwale ni ma Sarah wi efe ko na kai don kemi beko ne ba jimi kemi hu beko edon bia ne wo fen wo ye fan ye shia.
As Beauty tries to reconcile with herself after suffering domestic violence, she hopes no woman would have to suffer such fate in the hands of their husbands.
Up next, we're going to have a look at some of our business stories this morning. But before then, let's have a short break. We'll be back. Well, if you're just joining us, you're watching GH Today right here on GH1 TV. Our first news bulletin for the day. Our social media handle is at GH1 TV on all our social media platforms. Feel free to comment, share your stories with us. We're always very happy to hear from you. Now, let's have a look at some of our business stories this morning. Now, scores of residents at Anyinase in the Elembele and Exim in the Nzema East District of the Western Region are up in arms against managers of Nzema East Credit Union operating in the 2 Nzema districts for allegedly squandering their savings. Now, the over 4,000 customers have petitioned President Nana Akufo-Addo and the Bank of Ghana to intervene.
Honorable Kabrabon, Assembly member at the Anyinase North Electoral area. There was this Nzema East Credit Union who came to establish at Anyinase here. Initially, people started joining the association, contributing the so-called susu. But all that we know is that Credit Union is not only one institution at Enyinasi here. It has so many branches. And a credit union, which is having a branches, forms another, what do you call it, a union with other sister credit union. We have Niaku, we have Weku, we have Bontiaku, and other those Kukuku association. It means that they join together to form a one body. However, if another sister union is having a problem because he has joined another union, they have to come to the aid of the association. That's why each and everyone joins a union. Why do you join a union? We join a union because if you have a problem, your fellow member of the union or the union will help you. But here is the case: this so-called credit union have defrauded people, taking people's money, and the mother union is nowhere to be found. So we are pleading to the government, the finance minister, other agencies who can help us retrieve our money to come to our aid. If not, we are going to take the law into our own hands and deal with them wherever that we can do.
Still in business, the Ghanaian business community can now tap into the knowledge base of Hungary, a country that has distinguished itself in economic growth, powered mainly by services. This relationship has been made possible with the establishment of the Ghanaian-Hungarian Business Council.
Hungary, a high-income OECD country, is the world's 57th largest economy. It churns out some $265 billion every year. In 2015, it attracted inward FDI worth $120 billion, making Hungary one of the leading nations in Central and Eastern Europe for attracting FDI. At the same time, Hungary invests more than $50 billion abroad. Going forward, Hungarian Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade Peter Sia believes Ghana will be beneficiary of some of $50 billion investments by virtue of the partnerships created through the Ghanaian-Hungarian Business Council.
We put a lot of emphasis on cooperation between our country and the African countries, between our businesses and the African businesses. So, based on this understanding of New World Order, we have launched a new policy which we call Southern Opening. Southern Opening policy concentrates on enhancing the relationship with countries in Africa. And Ghana is one of our focus points.
Although a small nation of about 9 to 10 million people, Hungary can boast of a vibrant export economy powered principally by 80% privately owned businesses. At the launch of the Business Council in Accra, Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, urged industry players in Ghana to take advantage of the opportunity.
I think it's a partnership that will do very well, and the council would put together Ghanaian business people and Hungarian business people who will then consolidate the opportunities and match them with the investors that are looking at Ghana.
The services sector is responsible for nearly 2/3 of Hungarian economic growth. Ghana, on the other hand, strives to achieve a robust secondary or manufacturing sector. Hence, I ask, what will the nature of relationship be between both countries? President of AGI, Dr. Edu Jemfi, explains.
There's going to be technology transfer between Hungarian businessmen and Ghanaian businessmen, which of course is going to build capacity for us. Right now, we know everything we do is more of knowledge based. We should be able to tap into how they were able to do food processing and all that so that we can add value to our agri sector.
The European country, which reopened its embassy in Ghana after 3 decades of closure, signed about 3 MOUs with government aimed at boosting growth in key sectors such as education, agriculture, among others.
Well, sure sounds like it will be a lucrative relationship there between Hungary and Ghana. Time now to have a look at our weather forecast for the day.
She can't hear you.
Well, this brings us to the end of our news bulletin today. Look out for more news right here on JH Today every morning. But for now, we just have to say thank you so much for joining us. You go ahead and have a splendid day ahead. Now, standing by our favorite hosts, Kafui and Beiswa, to give you more on GH Today. It's a new month. It's December. It's holiday. You know, there's a lot of international day of this and that. It's going to be a very busy month and already a week.
It's a wonderful time of the year.
Okay, I don't know the song, but I will sing.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, Lerato, in advance.
Oh.
How are you doing?
How would you say it in your...